Da, da, theme song, theme song. Da, da, da.
I'm Tanya,
I'm Nikki.
and we are A Thousand Eyes in One, the
The podcast.
podcast. We're talking the finale of House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 8, The Queen Who Ever Was. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, A Thousand Eyes in One Podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as Thousand Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, A Thousand Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.
Ever was, y'all. Ever was. Before we do that, I don't always watch and pay attention to the little this is what's coming up thing that they play at the beginning before they show the episodes. Last night I watched it and I fucking squealed. Did you watch it?
Wait, the recap from last episode?
No, not
Or
the
what's
recap.
coming for the next
The what's
episode?
coming for no, they have this thing because I watch it on the streaming platform that I refuse to call by its new name. And it gives it shows you oh, these are the cool shows that we're doing now, but here's what's coming up next year. Girl, I squealed because you know what I saw?
Was it that little clip from Dunkin'
At
Egg?
Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook a couple days ago.
I was like, ah. The maester looking up who are you? So we do cover that. We are covering it. Stay tuned for that. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
I was so gassed.
Well, I would like to say that I was not happy with this finale.
Okay. Tell me more.
I think that as an episode 8, it was good. If it was a standalone episode 8 out of 10,
Right.
yes, I enjoyed it. As a finale, like a season finale, I found it to be lackluster.
Here was my note on that. My note on this episode, it was, and now our prologue has ended.
Yeah, I guess. But I think we talked about last time how we've kind of grown to expect the penultimate episode to be
Mm-hmm.
something really crazy.
Right.
And if it had been, then this would have been a good follow-up of okay, we've wrapped that all up. But now
Right.
it kind of feels like the last 2 episodes were preparing us for 2 more episodes that aren't happening.
Yeah. When I was on Pop Culture Happy Hour, Glenn kept saying that this was table setting. It was table setting. And yeah, now all the pieces, everything is on the table. All the pieces are on the board. Let's go. I'm actually not too mad about it. I thought when I got to the end, I started to watch it over again, and I was like, oh no, bitch, go to bed. It's late. But I think for the glimpse of the things that I got at the end, it was enough to be like, okay, finally we're gonna pick up next season. We saw Daron and his dragon. What the fuck is Otto Hightower doing in that little cage jail, whatever the fuck he's in, looking like Kaladin? Got it early.
Yeah, no, the setup for things to come is great. And
Yeah.
honestly, knowing what's coming is what keeps me going at this point.
Yeah.
I think that if I didn't know what was coming, that I would have lost interest because it feels like blue balls.
A lot of people have told me that the first season was kind of hard to get into, but they've been having a lot more trouble with the second season.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me. And I think I'm wondering if I knew nothing about it, if I would still jump in and be like, "Oh no, this is really cool." Or I mean, I'll be honest. I've told you this many times. It took me several times to get through the first episode of Game of Thrones because I just kept getting really confused. What is the shit in the beginning before the credits run? Now, who are these people? It wasn't until I maybe started watching it 3 or 4 times, and the fourth time, I finally made it to the end of episode 1, and I was like, "Oh no, they didn't," and then I was hooked. It took child murder, attempted murder, to lock me in.
I mean, the thing is, it's we got a lot. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think it was like a really strong start. And there's just like this build up and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It and you know what? I also don't like cliffhangers.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of cliffhangers.
I like
And
cliffhangers.
I don't really like cliffhangers. Like
That's what keeps me in anime.
no, I don't love cliffhangers. And I think this just felt like I don't know how to put this in a way that isn't crass. Hold on.
As if.
All
What
right, I'm
has
just
when has
gonna
that
say
ever stopped us?
like I feel like I was rubbing one out and got interrupted.
Mm. That incomplete nut.
And you're just
Yeah.
like, ah, fuck.
And you can't get it back no matter how much you try.
Now I'm gonna wait, what, 2 years? They did confirm two
Oh,
more seasons.
that's
It'll
what's
end
up.
it'll end after season 4, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I felt this episode, there was a lot of come to the old and new gods moments.
Yeah.
I felt that there were a lot of epiphanies and realizations that I think are going to be interesting for people's character development over the next now 2 seasons. Um, I don't know. I found myself feeling sympathy for people who I did not expect to, even though I still hate them on principle.
I got to the end of the episode and I kind of realized it was ending. And my very first thought was, that's it.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't really feel that way. I was just like, maybe it's because I was tired and I was just like, okay, it's over now. But I felt like I didn't expect, I wasn't expecting a huge battle or anything because I knew that there were too many things that we had to fill in the blanks for. Um, but with what we did get, I can say I enjoyed it. I did. I wasn't mad at it at all. I wasn't mad at it at all. What I did like about the end was I think the end was exciting to me because they just played everybody's theme.
Mm.
Everybody's theme for each house. You got to hear their theme. If it was, even if it's just a little bit, just a little teeny snippet, it's enough for me. Yeah. Well, shall we start with Thailand?
Island is in Essos, trying to engage the triarchy,
hmm
and they are not impressed by him.
At all. They're like, don't you have money?
They're like, pay up.
Pay up. It's like when that guy tried to tell me he didn't want to pay me my full rate because it was dipping into his inheritance.
What?
Excuse me, sir. You're what? I don't have one of those. Please pay me my full rate.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
one I haven't heard.
me neither. But yeah, no, they're right. They know the Lannisters got that cha-ching. Um, and they can also kind of do what they want. They're right about that too. And so he has this like hero moment where he's like, okay, whatever, I'll give you warships. This could cost me my head, but y'all drive a hard bargain. And what was really funny to me is that after all that like Godfather-esque conversation, they bring in, I forgot her name,
Lohar.
Lohar, who reminds me of original Dario Naharis.
Mm.
And it's crazy to me because here you are waging a war, right, against a woman leader
Hmm.
when you look who's taking your ass back to King's Landing. A
A
woman,
woman leader.
a woman leader, a warrior so fierce that she dusted you until you realized that you had to hit a girl back.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he agrees to worship, so they're gonna send their fleet. He meets Lohar,
Mhm.
who thinks that he should fuck her wives and give her babies. That
But
was
how
interesting.
many wives does she have? Because he asked and we never found out, and he was standing up pretty straight. I would have expected him to at least be sitting.
Yeah, I was like, does this mean there's like a bunch of little Lannister bastard descendants in Essos?
Love it. I did like the mud fight. I wasn't expecting for mud wrestling. It reminded me a little bit of Brienne and the Bear. Um, but he realized at the end, like at some point, I guess your pride has to take over and be like, am I really going to get beat down in the mud in front of all these people? Like, my house will never live this down. It just took a quick hit to the gut. And she respected him for it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Then she has him sing for his dinner, which was also interesting. Like I was like, is
No
she
brawn.
was her plan? What'd you say?
He's no brawn.
No, it was like her plan was just to see how far they could go. Like they called him all those names. They called him
Hmm.
Tywin, Tyrod, like all
Said
these
we're gonna serve you the
names.
flesh of our enemies for dinner.
Yeah, but they basically just bullied him,
Hmm.
I guess, to see if he's soft.
I think when she first came in, she's like, "Oh, you're so thin," and the dude was like, "But he's tall," and she's like, "Oh, okay."
Like, I guess that'll do.
He's a breeder. Yeah. Well, I guess good on him for getting the job done.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean that the crown has a fleet now.
Finally, he has accomplished
Because we still
something.
don't really know if the Greyjoys, the Lannisters have a fleet, but it's small,
Hmm.
and we don't know what the Greyjoys are gonna do.
Whatever they fucking want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Crown has a fleet now. So I guess we'll see some ship on ship violence
I'm here
next
for it.
season.
I
Yeah.
love I love the naval battles. She reminded me a little bit of Euron Greyjoy too, because that bitch was just crazy.
She reminded me of Asha slash Yara
Mm-hmm.
slash Yara.
Yarasha. Yarasha.
Yarasha.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely adds Greyjoy vibes. Not Theon, though.
No.
As Tanya likes to say, it's still fuck Theon in these parts.
They both don't have penises.
Very true. And you know what? Let's do tic tac toe because neither does Aegon. Bet
Uh,
you didn't expect to find that on your bingo card. Shout out to AK.
Speaking of Aegon and that
Hmm.
ilk, you felt bad for him?
His penis popped like a sausage on a spit.
Now he can't use it to rape serving girls.
And that I understand, and I'm here for it. But he was like, it's so funny because Laris is just going on and on about his safety, and he's just like, now it drips down my legs when I pee. And I'm like, have you never been waxed before, sir? Like it changes your whole pattern.
Probably not. I thought it was funny how he's like, I'm disgusting, I'm crippled, I'm blah blah blah,
Hmm.
I'm alone. And Laris just goes, you're not alone. I'm like, so he's all of the other things,
Yeah,
just not
exactly.
alone.
Wait, but maybe I took it two ways that he's not alone, but then also like, hey, we're in the same club now, like solidarity for us cripples and shit. Um, but what did you think of Lara saying, "Hey, we got to get out of here"?
I think he's right. We see that Aemond has fucking lost it. He burned a whole town.
I wrote, "Who
That's
has
our
murder?"
first.
My thing was, "Who has murder dick now?"
Yeah, our first, the first thing we see with Aemond is him overlooking this town he's just burned, and because he was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp Point is the town.
Yeah,
So
donut
I
fit.
think that Laris is right. Aegon is definitely in danger. Like Aemond has gone off the rails.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna kill you.
Absolutely.
He's not wrong.
So yeah, I think Laris is right. The king should probably escape. And also, I still just because I still just don't trust Laris,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe this is purely out of fear for the king's safety.
Oh
I
no.
still think it's like he wants to be hand, he needs something out of it, so he's trying to make sure he's friends with the king.
Yes, he's ingratiating himself. Like we still don't really know what the motive is. Like we saw that he did want to be hand, or like he volunteered himself for the job.
You
Um,
toad.
but like, but really, Essos? Like, why are we going? Or no, did you say Bravos? I can't remember.
I thought he said Pentos.
Oh, was it Pentos? Well,
Now I don't know.
wherever the goat fuckers live is
Yeah.
where he doesn't want to go. And it's just okay, so you're gonna be buddy buddy with him on this whole trip, and what's the point? Like, yeah, sure, safety, and like he's gonna be like, oh, you saved my life when nobody was paying attention, da 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 da. But leave, excuse me. And the thing is that I I was like, okay, we know we unlike Amond, Aegon loves to be flattered, right? He
Hmm.
loves that attention. He because his daddy, his daddy knew that he was a terrible
Daddy
person.
wasn't there.
Exactly. And he was just like Egon was just like, oh, I don't really think I want to do that. And so Lara starts laying on the honorifics.
Hmm.
And he was like, oh, actually, it's
And
like
he,
in
and he said Aegon the Realm's Delight,
the realm's delight.
which
I was
was
mad.
Rhaenyra's nickname.
Nickname. PJ, would you put that on my luggage, sir? Yes. Robin Hood. Well, that's because what you call Little John comes in and he's just like buttering up the prince, and he's like he's like, oh, giving him all these nicknames and honorifics, and he's all about it. And then he banishes his snake to the basket. Oh wait, not the basket. He tells him to go look out for Robin Hood. If you know, you know.
Well, Aegon thinks that he should imprison Aemond.
He and what army?
Yeah, I'm like, how?
And who's gonna take it, right? All his homies aren't on the Kingsguard anymore.
Right.
Not that they could have handled Aemond anyway.
They would not have been able to handle Aemond. Aemond has taken over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Aegon is definitely in danger. Um, Interesting that Laris wanted to spirit the king away, but not the queen and their child.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why not make that offer?
Why
Let me
wouldn't
get
you
the
take
royal family out of here.
right? And why wouldn't Aegon be like, yes, also my wife and daughter?
Yeah.
Piece of shit. That's why I don't feel bad for him. He only thinks about himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Points were made.
Like, just fuck your daughter, huh?
We hope not.
You would think losing one child would make you extra protective of the other.
Yeah, but she's a girl. They don't care.
Yeah, it is Westeros.
Mm-hmm. What are they gonna do with that? Now they gotta find somebody to marry her off to. Who's it gonna be?
Aemond.
Who? Yeah. Oof, yikes. I mean, you know what? I can't even say yikes because we have seen it happen
Yes, yes, we
already.
have. Um, Rhaena
This
has
bitch.
gone into the wilderness with no supplies to search for a dragon. She's crazy.
Feral ass Raina. You know what my first thought was, to be completely honest, when she saw the water, I was like, one, when you're like super thirsty like that, you're not supposed to gulp with that quickly. But two, are you not gonna wash? Because I would be doing squats in the river had
I
I
think
been on my own for so long.
I think I would drink water first before I
No,
bathe.
no, drink the water, but I want you to bathe also because who
You know what
girl.
it made me think of? It made me think of the end of Dance with Dragons when Danny is drinking that water and it's giving her
Mm,
diarrhea, but like she
yes.
gets diarrhea and gets so thirsty, so she drinks more of the water, which just gives her more diarrhea. And it's just like
What were they calling it?
George is telling us she shat like so many times. Like he just says it over and over and she shat
Yeah.
again. I was like, oh my God. That's what I thought of when I saw her
Yeah.
drinking all that water. I was like, oh no,
But it
she's
is the
bad.
Vale. I feel like that's pure mountain stream. She's probably good,
It
no?
probably is pure mountain stream, but that's just what it made me think of.
Ooh, dysentery. That's the word I was looking
Dysentery.
for. Dysentery. Yeah, I mean, she's determined. You got to give her that. She's determined. They haven't sent out a search party. Nobody cares that she's gone either.
Which is so fucked up. You would think that somebody would have sent a raven to Rhaenyra to be like, hey, Rhaena is missing.
And they're like, so? Like, I mean, yeah, Rhaenyra and Corlys would have at least been like, hey, what do you mean she's not with the kids? Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of this storyline is one of those things where I just have to just believe. just leave everything, all my questions behind me and just believe. Eventually, this hard running and sleeping outside, shivering her ass off in the cold pays off because she finds the dragon
Yes, she does eventually see the dragon and then follow its path, and she comes face to face with it.
with the
And
pointiest wings we've seen on a dragon yet.
yeah, those wings were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why a wild dragon would have different wings.
Who knows? Who knows? I guess that's what happens when they're not grown in captivity.
Yeah, we don't know how big this dragon is.
I
It's
mean,
pretty big. I don't think it's
it's pretty
Vagar
big,
big.
right? I was wondering the same thing because she's standing on that hill and you see the dragon. She's obviously a good distance away from it, and she looks tiny, and the dragon looks huge. But
Yeah,
like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Caraxes big? It's not Vermithor or Vagar big for sure. But
no.
are we talking like Syrax or Silverwing? Who knows? I guess we'll see. But it must be bigger than them because remember when Drogon went all off on his own
Yeah.
and was hunting and just like growing big as shit for no reason. So yeah, big dragon. Big dragon.
Well, she found the dragon. Now she has to tame it. Hopefully. The fact that
Hopefully.
they didn't show her getting killed immediately,
Yeah.
I think is a
Yeah.
good sign for her, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope so. Can you imagine if you just like she gets blown to flames in the opening of the next season and nobody ever knows what happened to her?
They're just like, whoops.
She's just gone forever. Gone forever. I think my note in here was like she's still rowing.
Let's talk about ancient Ulf.
Yo.
Ulf Ulf does not know how to act.
Ulf the Oaf.
Ulf the Oaf, indeed. He simply does not know how to comport himself.
I just don't know who let them wander all around the fucking castle willy-nilly like that.
Yeah.
Like nobody's guarding that room. That's where the small council meets.
I mean, I guess there's no one in there, so like why guard it?
Still, nobody's on patrol passing by. Like, what if they start moving their little like war icons around, their little their D&D figurines around the thing and like fuck up their plans? But yeah, what the fuck is he doing in there with his legs up on the table?
Yeah, it's like this dragon thing immediately went to his head. We see Adam. Adam is humble and wants to
Mm-hmm.
serve. We see Hugh, who's scared, but also like, this is the queen. I'm gonna behave.
Mm-hmm.
Let me chill. And then you have
Yeah.
Ulf, who
Uh-oh.
basically believes he's a lord now and is ordering
You,
people about. And the
but
way he talked to Jace before he realized who Jace was,
and even after though.
well, yeah.
But I gotta say, you know what? I was irritated by his lack of manners and decorum, but I was not really surprised because this is how he's been acting the entire time that we've known him. In the
Yeah, he has been
Yeah,
acting like that the whole time.
yeah. So he's
But
on brand.
but you would think a normal person would be like, I am with the queen. I probably shouldn't act the same way I do when I'm in a tavern.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, okay, you have a dragon now, but they could kill you and then they'd have a dragon back,
Exactly. Like
you know?
there's no problem with someone just walking in and beheading you. In fact, when he was cracking his little joke about, well, you ought to make me a knight,
Oof.
in the background, the king's guard reaches for his sword.
Mm, I didn't peep that.
Yeah, I saw it the first time, and then when I watched it the second time around, I was watching him, and yeah,
Mm.
he like, kind of pulls it out a little bit because he's ready to cut this motherfucker's head off.
I
All
was
she
again,
had to
I
do
was
was
too
say the word.
shocked. I was too shocked that he even said that. He's like, well, make me a knight then and I'll listen to you. I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Jace
Because it
fucking hates him.
hate. The thing about it is like, if, like, let's say that he's like, oh, I have a dragon now. I can just be out. Like, did you learn how to call your dragon, sir? Like,
Right.
there's a whole ritual, right? Like, you can't just walk in there and be like, hey, let's go.
And again, we can just behead you right here in this room and have it cleaned up before your body's cold.
Or at least outside. At least outside. Take him out. Feed him to your dragon.
I'm just saying, like, just you have a dragon, yes, but like you're still at the queen's mercy when you're not on
Mm-hmm.
that dragon's back.
Exactly. Exactly. And, I liked that Jace was like, listen, we are not the same.
He said my
We are
favorite
not the same.
phrase, you
Which
forget
one?
yourself.
You forget
Oh,
yourself.
I love that phrase. I'm gonna start using that on the kids.
Yeah.
You forget yourself.
Basically, fall back. Yeah. I couldn't, I just couldn't with him. I'd like, but like I said before, it was very on brand for him. And you'd think that maybe he learned a little bit manners, but nah, nah. Even Braun had more manners than him when he was in the presence of his betters.
Yeah, like Bronn, he was like a dick to Tyrion,
Mm-hmm.
because he was just kind
Because
of
he
like
could be.
whatever. Yeah, he could be.
Because he saved his life.
But he at least knew to keep his mouth shut and to
Yeah.
just fucking relax.
Yeah. And I think what pisses Jace off the most is what he says. He's like, this is a sacred inheritance. You are not respecting.
Not just that, but being like, yeah, let them tell us we're not Targaryens because Ulf is a bastard. Like,
Yeah.
don't relate to me, even though,
Mhm.
yikes, sorry, you're both bastards. But like, don't try to relate to me. He touches his hair, like,
Touch it with the hair. He's like, oh, it's as dark as they say it is.
and the fact that he hugged him, I was cringing so bad. Like, why did you hug him? What did you think about Rhaenyra saying she'd make them knights? Because I thought she was gonna say she'd make them lords.
Oh,
Because I thought
well,
being a
she,
dragon rider would at least grant them that.
right. Well, they're still baseborn. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
Let's
they
not be
are.
too hasty. Give them a knighthood. And then they have to leave their dragons at home. They have to leave their dragons in the barracks,
But
in
yeah,
the armory.
I would think becoming a dragon rider would get you a small castle, keep somewhere.
Well, only two of them deserve that.
They can be like little lords. They don't have to like be
Yeah.
wardens or
You should
anything.
give them sharp point.
They can share it.
Yeah, they could share. Rebuild this. It's yours. It's yours.
Well,
Um,
Jace
but
is
I
go
but I
ahead.
like what I was gonna say. I like what Adam said though. He's like, let's see who's a coward when it really comes down to it.
Yeah, I
Because you
mean,
look like the running type.
Ulf is looking at this like it's a fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, you're gonna have to go to battle now. Oh, that was
Doom,
how it
doom,
started. They
doom,
were
doom,
supposed
doom,
to be
doom.
training. It was getting
Right.
him because they were supposed to be training, and instead of training, he's got his feet up on the council table, chilling. So he's already not taking it seriously.
Yeah, no, he's slacking already. You just got a dragon. You're not like, why are you not training with your dragon, Tanya? If I got the dragon after having we talked about the dysentery that we would get having a dragon come up to us like that. You better believe that dragon would be my bestie. That's all I would want to do is hang out with my dragon.
Yeah,
That's all I want to do. I have a fucking dragon.
yeah.
Like you'd have to call me and be like, "Yo, Nikki, you're gonna eat a blade?" Nope. Silverwing here has barbecued us a sheep. I'm good. Like, nah, I would be hanging with my dragon.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'd like to hang out with the dragon, but he also needs to train how to give
Yeah,
it commands. Like flying around isn't enough.
yeah,
You got to be able to give it commands. You have to fight with it. And he doesn't know how to do anything. And it doesn't seem like he really cares. Like
not at
it's
all.
still it's all very like mythical to him still.
I mean, we saw him. He took his dragon out for a joyride.
Yeah. Completely giving away that there are new
Mhm.
writers.
Like for that, he should have been grounded, literally and literally.
Well, Jace is like really upset by this still. And it's making him consider his status. But
Poor Jace.
you're the queen's son and it's her claim.
Thank
So
you,
like
Bela.
you're good. Yeah, Bela's like, do you really think you're the first heir who was a bastard, dude? Like, come on. This is Westeros. Everybody's fucking.
Sorry. I like flip through my notes sometimes and I laugh because sometimes we go in order, sometimes we do scene by scene, sometimes we like just cover what everything for that character in one shot. And so this is about Thailand and shit, what's her name again? Lohar?
So hard.
Lohar, and when she's asking him to like have the babies and to impregnate her wives, and I said it's the thuggish ruggish boner because I'm crazy, and these are the thoughts that come into my head. But yeah, no, Jace needed to be cheered up by Bela. You know, she's like, look at it, you're still the crown prince. It's still you. Everybody knows that. Like, why are you pouting? Step up, step up and be worthy of this. And you know what? You're not the only one who's got bastard parentage, bruh. It happens all the time.
And it's the Valarian side that's not real. Like, so you're still a Targaryen.
Exactly. You're still a Targaryen.
Like, isn't that what matters? You're still a Targaryen.
That's the only thing that matters in this under these circumstances. TBH. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't deserve Bela.
Bela's a sweetheart.
She really is. She's like her mom.
Mm-hmm. Rhaenyra and Corlys have their little meeting,
Mm.
and he's
Their
encouraging
working
her.
lunch.
Yeah, they have their working lunch where he encourages her to strike because she believes that just having these dragons would be enough to stay Aemon's hand. And Corlys is like, no, I think that you need to go do something. And I agree with Corlys. Like, girl,
The time has come, the Corliss said.
stop trying to hold off on a war that's already started.
Exactly.
Like the
Exactly.
war has started.
The blood has been shed. There is no putting the dragon back in the pit. Let's just go. And he's right. Like, I know that she doesn't want to kill anyone. I know that she's trying to preserve peace like her father wanted. But like, I mean, we talked about this last time, like what Viserys would have been like as a wartime king.
Mm-hmm.
He still would have had to make those moves. He may not have wanted to, but you have to do what you want to do to keep Rhaenyra on the throne to prevent the war that is coming. Not this one, the Great War.
Well, he mentions Tessarion, Daeron's dragon, which
Yes.
is beautiful, by the way. The little glimpse of it that we saw at the end. Um, and Helena and Dreamfire, which while we know she has a dragon, I don't think anybody was thinking about Helena fighting.
Well, not even just Helena fighting. Like we know that she has a dragon. We know that she's not really into riding it, but we didn't know that it was hatched when Aegon the Conqueror during his reign.
So
That means that she got an old fucking dragon.
she has a big motherfucking dragon.
Mm-hmm. Smaller than Vagar, but still really big. I want to see this dragon.
I want to see Dreamfire as well. Um the idea of Helena riding a dragon into war is just so beyond anything I can picture when I
It
see
goes against
Helena.
everything, Helena.
Yeah, yeah. And later
Like,
on, when Aemond is basically trying to force her,
mm-hmm. You mean while Alicent was trying to finally be a mummy?
yes, Alicent's like, please, let's get out of here. Um, Aemond goes and tries to force her. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
how does he think that's gonna work?
And like, how do you know that her dragon is not going to react to you forcing her to do anything?
Yeah, like once she gets on the dragon and she's in the air,
Mm-hmm.
like, are you gonna throw your sword at her until until she says Dracarys?
Yeah, but also I
She's gonna be
really
scared. Like, can you trust a scared person on a dragon
fuck
in a
no. Your
fight?
dragon will take over. Um, the and I really enjoyed that scene because you get like we've seen Helena go through it. Poor Queen Helena go through it from the first episode up until this last episode where she comes into her power, which we'll talk about in a second.
Mhm.
But it's just like she's like, I don't want to kill the small folk, even though she knows they hate them. Even
Yeah.
though, like, she's not motivated by the same hate that is driving Aemon. He's like, whatever, they'll eat fish or not eat fish. Like, would they rather starve than like us, like, bust through this blockade? Blah blah blah. And she's like, well, they kind of jumped me, and I still don't want to kill them.
Alicent made a really good point when she said to Aemond, you want to rule the seven kingdoms, but you're fucking burning up all the small folk.
Mm-hmm. Like, who do you think is the Seven Kingdoms? It's not just the throne.
Exactly. And it
Like
goes
how
back
like
to the
we are here
being
by their efforts,
it
you
goes
know?
back to the idea of like, do you want to be a ruler of the seven kingdoms or a ruler of ash and bone?
Yeah. You just want to sit the throne. You don't know it.
He's so crazy. Like we knew he was like a little off his rocker, but like
He's just
he's
been getting
so
crazier and
crazy.
crazier. I love hate his like fucking little Aemon smirk that he's always carrying around with his haughty walk.
He does that. Mm.
Mm, mm,
It's like
mm, mm, mm.
he was doing all of the things that was making us say like why he'd be a better king than Aegon.
Yeah.
And now that he's in that role, temporary as it is, he's lost his
Yikes.
fucking mind. And
Little
he's
power.
making out to be a terrible king
Terrible.
because he just wants
Terrible
murder,
king.
murder, kill, kill.
Because even Egon's hand could be stayed by his small
Right,
council, right?
right.
Like he's impetuous and stuff, but Aemon's like, "What? Y'all don't want to do that? Fuck it, I'm getting on Vagar," and then he's out and he does whatever he wants, which is reminding us of Damon again.
His sole concern is trying to end Rhaenyra. And yes, you are at war, but you also have people starving in your city.
Right,
So like him wanting to stop the boats, for example, and
right.
being like, well, we all have to make our sacrifices. What are you sacrificing?
What exactly? What are you sacrificing? I think all of that is true. Now that he knows that there are bastards riding dragons, I think he's feeling similarly to Jace, right? Like what makes us special if anybody can can get in the Ferrari and take off?
Yeah. Well,
We need to preserve that.
I think that I think that he and both Jace need to remember that they're not just random bastards, that they're Targaryen bastards
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Valyrian blood.
Mm-hmm.
So a wedding ceremony isn't going to change whether or not they can ride a dragon. The
Exactly.
dragons aren't checking for marriage certificates and wedding bands.
Are you sure? I thought Silverwing asked.
Silverwing looked very closely, but decided it wasn't important. Our boy Damon has an army now. Finally,
Took him long enough.
finally, he's ready for some action when Lord Broom shows up. I can't remember his
That
first name.
bit Alfred. I remember
Alfred.
it. Alfred.
Now, this motherfucker. Did you watch with subtitles on?
Oh, I always watched the first time with no subtitles and the second time with subtitles. And yeah, I heard that shit. I saw it. Traitor. Traitor.
Yeah. He said that this place will have you, what do you say, howling at the moon?
Barking
Barking
at
at
the
the
moon.
moon. This place will have you barking at the moon.
David's just unfazed. He's like, yeah, not crazy shit happens here. Well, now what do you want?
Yeah, it's like I've been hallucinating for weeks, bro. It's all good.
Like,
Um,
chill.
well, now he's encouraging Damon to claim the throne.
Yo, can we just okay? I'll be patient.
He believes what we need is a king. And so after all that talk of support, you still don't really want her because she's a woman and you
Mm-hmm.
believe she's too gentle.
Yeah.
When like do you believe in her as queen or not? And I guess the answer is
Yeah,
not.
no,
He
the answer
doesn't.
is no. The answer is no. And I think he's been the loudest voice against her, you know? Maybe he's the one that she should have slapped walking down the hallway had he still been there. Um, but yeah, we see from the very beginning, he was like, okay, Damon, where's Damon? Damon? Is Damon coming back? But what about Damon? You know, the whole fucking time. And he gets there and he's just like, yo, bro, you gotta put your wife in check. We need you instead of any of the other things he could have said when he arrived there. Like, your wife wants to know what's good. You got an army now, right? Like,
and remember, he's sent to find out what Damon's intentions are when he has the same intentions as
mhm,
Damon. And
exactly.
Damon doesn't respond. And so
He's just quiet.
at first I wondered if he was wavering on the things he was saying before about why he should rule and she can just come rule with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wondered if hearing it from somebody from her council
Yeah.
made him more resolved to follow that path or less.
When I was watching it, I think it made him less right? Because I can say whatever I want, but you can't say that about my wife. Who are you? Like it's different to hear it from the mouth of somebody who's supposed to be supporting her, right? Because now the mirror has been turned on him. He's like, oh, you know what? No, 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 no. You don't get to talk about like that about a Targaryen queen.
And
Yeah.
also, why are you comfortable saying this to me?
Mhm.
You
Should
know,
have his head.
yeah, that's but for real, like, why aren't you afraid that just saying that will make me cut your head off?
That's I mean,
You know,
that's
so
why,
I'm sure it made him look in on himself, like, well, shit, that's the vibe I'm giving off, that you can just like talk about overthrowing my wife and I'm just gonna be cool with it. Like, am I that guy?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And to see Sir Simon off to the side being like, ooh,
He said,
it's time to save a
uh-oh.
raisin.
And remember, like, Simon this whole time has been hearing Damon talking about being king and
Mm-hmm.
not wanting, and even though he's like checking him with like king consort and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, like he's been hearing these things that Damon has been saying all this time and
But it's
watching
different from the
Damon's
ruling
moves.
family.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, he's watching all these moves, and now he sees a lord from Rhaenyra's own council joining
Mm-hmm.
him. That's dangerous. And
Yep.
now we know Simon is about his business. He's true to
Yeah.
this.
He is true to this.
So
Yeah.
he finally sends off a raven to
With the
Rhaenyra.
oh hell no.
He's like, not in my house.
Nope.
Not
Nope.
in my
Nope. Nope.
house.
And it's just like to watch Damon not check him during that whole
Right.
thing, right? He's like,
Right.
okay, okay, now we have a problem. He's here. This is what, he's letting people say this kind of stuff to him. We know he's got an army. We know this army's ready to march. And I'm sure Sir Simon can't wait to get them out of there because
Yeah.
Hall's resources is,
But I'm
uh,
sure Harrenhal's been burned before. I'm sure he doesn't want to repeat either.
yeah,
So,
like
like,
what's
please go
left.
do your treason somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine he doesn't want Rhaenyra to think that he's been in on it either.
No, of course not. That's what I was going to say is like he goes and he sends off that raven because no, that wasn't the plan. He can sit there and entertain Damon as long as he wants. Okay. But to have these other people come in and be like, no, no, not like you said, not in my house.
Nope.
Ooh, that was so bold of him. So can we talk about this real quick since we've mentioned it? Like they have to take his head eventually, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking treason. It's high treason.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, do you want to just talk about that real quick?
Yeah. Can we just talk about that? Because like I want to murder him. How dare he? You
He
can't let that slide.
You cannot have someone like that on your team. Damon
Mm-hmm.
said himself that he needed the people who are ready to die for this shit. When he
Right.
remember he was talking about the Brackens and they were like, we would rather be burned. Like he wants people who are absolutely ready to die for this cause because they believe in it that much. And Alfred Broom has shown that he's not that guy. So what's gonna happen with him now?
And it just shows like, are you just going to throw in your lot with whoever seems the most powerful?
I believe that Sir Alfred would not join the other side.
Mm-hmm. I
But
have my doubts now.
well, I don't think he would join the other side.
Well, you know
But
what? They would totally, they'd go Reigns of Castamere on his house.
absolutely. But I believe him. I believe that he would never join Aegon and the Greens. But he's also not loyal to Rhaenyra.
Well,
So
actually,
I
that's true
think
because they would kill him too.
if
Like if you came over to like swear your fealty to Aegon as a traitor to Rhaenyra, that would get you killed too. Like who the fuck are you?
some guy
Mhm.
with nothing to offer,
Bitch ass traitor.
I wonder who he would try to raise up if not Damon. Or would it just be no one? Now that that's failed, I think he just kind of has to slink back into the shadows and go attempt to go back to his job, which now I'm like,
Come
is
on, bro. You
Damon
are
gonna let him keep
fired.
it? Is Damon gonna keep that from Rhaenyra? Is he gonna tell her? Guess we'll
Mhm.
find out in 2029 when the show finally comes back.
Well, it'll be nice to see what happens. It's like either Damon tells Rhaenyra or he doesn't and he holds it over his head to keep him doing what he wants.
I think that he's just gonna kill him.
I'm here for it.
Or Broom's gonna disappear because later on when Damon pledges his fealty again, and everyone kneels. We see Broom. He kneels and he's looking around, but when they get up and they're doing
Shooketh.
when they're doing the cheering, he slinks off and disappears.
Mm-hmm. Gave him the old Baelish. Yeah. Yeah. Man, fuck him. Truly. I mean, I'm trying to think if that was like unexpected.
What, that Broom would turn on Rhaenyra?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he was always advocating for Damon, but to just be so bold as to say that, and also to say it in the Godswood.
Well, he clearly recognizes the new gods, not the old.
Even though the old gods are calling his ass out.
They smelled it on him as soon as he came in.
Oh, you reek of betrayal, sir. Yeah. Oh well, I look forward to seeing his death.
Hopefully. So, a part of the episode that I found underwhelming was someone finally learning that Allison and Kristen have been doing it and doing it and doing it well.
So, okay. Gwen, like he's sniffing her favor. Take that as you
But
will.
even before that, Gwen has been noticing like the longing looks between them and the private
Mm-hmm.
conversations and all
Of
these things. And I'm
course.
like, nobody else is noticing this. Gwen's noticing it from the very beginning.
Well,
So
that's his
when he,
sister.
yeah, and so when he's sitting there sniffing her handkerchief with her A on it, it confirms it for him.
Yeah.
And then like nothing.
Nothing. But the fact that they had this conversation, like he didn't take him for a walk through the woods and be like, bro, what's going on with you and my sister? He called him out in front of everybody. And like this scene was so interesting to me because like, they're at camp, they're camping around, people are just doing stuff, but people are standing there watching and listening to this conversation. And FCC is just sitting there being mopey because he misses his girl,
Yeah, he misses his ex
you know?
and he's still suffering from PTSD from Rook's Rest.
Yep.
So like he is broken, broken.
Yeah. He's like, I love your sister, bro.
But I don't know. I expected like a little more from Gwen. Like you,
What more did you really expect from Gwen?
I don't
Gwen is not
know.
about it. Gwen
Like
is he's like diet trash,
he barely threatened him.
And like, not that Kristen Cole, because here's the thing about that scene too. Like, he's got the sword, like maybe to his side, but Kristen Cole is not wearing his armor, and we know that he can fight.
Yeah.
So I feel like he would have been a little bit too nimble for Gwen to take down.
But
But
Gwen has
also,
a whole army behind him too. He
yeah, I
wasn't even
guess
like
so.
seize him. I mean, Kristen Cole made a good point. You can send me to the wall. First of all, it's like I
Mm-hmm.
could send you to the wall. Bitch, take his head. What do you mean send him to the wall? Take his head.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he's like it would stain the Hightower name.
Yeah, he's right about that.
He is right about that. Like, do you want people to know that about your sister? Which is why he should have just killed him instead of
Right.
threatening to send him to the wall. If you're gonna pull out your sword, make use of it.
Where did we learn that? Mm-hmm. 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 Don't pull out your sword unless you're going to use it. We know that. So now, now not only does everybody know, but we also know that you're not actually defending your sister's honor. I would have lost respect for him as one of his men.
Well, I don't think his men knew he was kind of far away. I think his men saw him pulling out the sword. I don't think they were hearing the conversation
I
because it
want them
was
to have heard.
he wasn't yelling and it wasn't a particularly loud conversation. It still to me seemed semi-private. So I don't think the men knew why Gawain had his sword out on him.
Yeah.
They were all just kind of looking like, okay, he has his sword out. Let's watch and see if we're supposed to do something.
Right, right, right. I would have crept up.
Guess because we're nosy.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been air
But
hustling too.
you know what? I like well, Kristen says that, women have been my downfall.
Yeah.
They keep ruining my life. But also, Gwen, don't be naive. Like these Kingsguard be getting it in. Like, let me keep it a buck. They go to the brothels, they just don't tell anybody. We're men too, and we know that we're gonna die. So we might not knock anybody up and sire any heirs. But not everybody is taking their vows seriously.
Kristen
What
wasn't
does he
even
say?
scared. I would be so offended if I pulled a sword out on someone and they weren't even scared.
It's like droopy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna
he
die anyway.
well, I mean, he believes that's what he says that they're headed to annihilation. So he's pretty much
Hmm.
ready to die. He's seen what dragons can do and knows that he cannot stand up against that.
Yep. That's what I have. It's like now he's a philosopher.
Yeah, like
True.
he says that death would be a kind of relief. And he's
Yeah.
lost all the fire that we saw in him in the beginning of the season when
Oh
he was
yeah,
going around
totally.
playing capture the castle with like these little tiny castles with no security. And now he
Hmm.
saw some real fighting with some real motherfucking dragons and what the real stakes are. And now he's broken.
Right. He's having that Damon introspective moment that we've been seeing all season, right? He's like, this is the world. This is what war really is. And real quick, just slightly related to that, I wrote down the thing that he said about honor, which I really loved. It's that true honor is a mist that melts in the morning, you know?
It reminds
Good
me,
job, George.
Gwen hearing this reminds me of Sansa realizing that not all knights are honorable.
Yeah, right?
Like, did Gwen
Or
also
or
believe the songs?
yeah, or John going to the wall and realizing that
Uh-huh.
it's just murders and rapers.
Right.
Yeah. Look at everyone's illusions being dashed to pieces. Alice, why are you in my bed, ho?
Why does he still not have security?
Like, well, that too, but she's just being in and out, and and she's just sitting there on the bed being creepy, like waiting for him to wake up.
That's wild creepy. Like, how long was she sitting there and how long was she gonna wait?
I know, exactly.
That is
That was my
wild
question.
creepy. Like,
She's like, I want to
clear
go into
your
the guy.
throat or something. Like you're just gonna sit in silence until he wakes up. And he was so chill about it because at this point he's like, this spooky bitch is just gonna continue to be spooky.
Yeah,
It
like
doesn't shock me anymore.
it's
Just
just her
fucking
thing.
whatever.
She's like, to the gods would we go? And he's like, oh, okay,
I'm
whatever.
like,
I'll
all
get
right, fuck
dressed.
it. I'll go hallucinate with you for a little while.
Let's do these shrooms.
So the first thing we see is an antlered man.
Mm-mm-mm. I'm raising my eyebrows. You guys can't see that.
So that's one of the green men, right?
Hmm. I think so.
If you remember Game of Thrones watchers, when we talk about the children of the forest, we also talk about the green men that were there before the Andals. That's like
Yes.
lore that could have easily been ignored if you're not a big fucking nerd. So
Right.
I think that antlered man was one of those green men, especially since we're dealing with old gods at this point.
Yeah, totally.
Then we see Blood Raven,
I
who
screamed.
is not alive yet. Because
I
my
screamed.
first thought was Blood Raven sending him visions, but then I remembered Blood Raven isn't alive for like
Hmm.
another like 50, 60 years, I think.
It's a past, present, future montage.
Yeah,
I've
so
been I'm willing to accept it.
yeah, because it took me a second because I was like, wait a minute. So I'm like, okay, so he's seeing things in the future. Blood Raven
Mhm.
in the tree. That was just a gift to us.
Yes, because that's our namesake. That he had the birthmark. He had the three-eye raven fly out of it. Like, it's amazing. I was so fucking happy. You know what I liked also about that scene is like he's got his hand on the heart tree, right? And it's like the sap looks like blood, and he's got his ring with the three dragons. And I was like, look at that fire and blood, that little tidbit. Thank you for that,
Yeah,
guys.
Blood Raven in the trees. We also see White Walkers
We
on the
see White
march.
Walkers. We do. We saw a dead dragon.
Yes, we saw a massacred dragon. That dragon was dead as fuck.
Hmm. We saw the comet.
The red comet. Before the red comet, we see Damon drowning.
Yes.
So that's, not a good omen. Um, Danny's
Three.
eggs in the fire. And
Hmm.
then Danny
Three little
herself.
dragons.
Yes, Danny herself, the birth of dragons.
Three little dragons, like the Targaryen sigil.
And this time, when he sees Rhaenyra on the throne, she's an adult.
Yep. And he realizes it's got well, he realizes that it's got to be Rhaenyra, but like we start off the scene with Alice saying, "There's omens there for those who want to see," and he's like, "Bitch, show me. I am ready to know."
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he got. It's got to be Rhaenyra. That's the only way.
And the vision of Helena, where she tells him it's all a story, everyone has their part, and you know your
Mm-hmm.
part. And so he knows his part now, and it is
Yep.
not for him to rule. He got all
Nope.
of that from that quick vision. I really
Love it.
liked that scene, and I kind of wish that um we had gotten scenes like that in Game of Thrones
Yeah.
when
Me
there were
too.
when there was like vision stuff happening. Like I would have
Yeah.
loved
Way
to see.
before Bran
Yeah, yeah,
grabbing
yeah.
onto
Like
roots.
remember when Jamie falls asleep with his head on a weirwood stump and he has all those
Yeah.
crazy vision dreams. Like I would have liked to
Yeah.
see stuff like that in Game of Thrones. So I'm glad that they did that here.
Yeah. They're making it up to us.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I'll be over it one day. I don't know.
Yeah. But then we get Helena.
Well, before we go,
Okay.
Helena, can we just finish out Harrenhal?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Damon knows his part. He knows what he must do. And Rhaenyra and Adam show up in Harrenhal.
Hmm.
Now, the first
I
thing I
love
thought,
that. I was gonna say, I love that Rhaenyra brought Adam. And why did she bring Adam? Because she's the only Adam was the only one whose character had been vouched for.
yes. And if he dies, he dies. Because like she's not gonna
Or
bring Jace.
just he's was it sea smoke? Just renting a sea rent a sea smoke. Just
Yeah.
whoever wants them.
Yeah. Um the first thing I thought when they walked in is why hasn't everyone dropped to their knees?
Dude, same.
And it's like they were all
Same.
waiting to see what Damon was gonna do.
Because it's not like when Jace walked into the council room, right? Well, he's got dark hair. We don't really know who he is, and we talk about the small folk not recognizing their rulers because they never see them. But this
Mm-hmm.
witch walked in with white hair.
And a fucking dragon who also entered the room. So they saw the white haired woman, they saw the dragon. You know who this is.
Yeah,
Drop to your knees, ho.
like
And
why?
they didn't. And so it made me think that they really were waiting to see what Damon's play was because they follow Damon, not the queen.
Right.
Even
And he
though
said
they
that
say,
they're
even though they
sworn to
say
me.
that they're sworn to the queen, are they really sworn to the queen or are they sworn to Damon? And I think that showed us that they were sworn to Damon.
Yep,
So I think that there are plenty of lords and soldiers, etc., who don't believe a
exactly.
woman should be queen, but
Mm-hmm.
because of their liege lords fighting under her banner, they're just doing it and going along with it because that's what they're supposed to do, and because she has
Exactly.
Damon.
Exactly.
So yes, I was
Exactly.
offended on her behalf when she walked in and everyone didn't kneel.
Me too. It's just like how, but I'm like, you're not going to announce her. Like nobody's going to announce her.
But like, do you need to be announced when you walk in the room with a dragon?
Not really, but like I would have liked some Rhaenyra first of her name. Blah 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 blah. I mean, we get it a couple minutes later, but yeah, I also was offended. I think note says, "Where was the respect, Neil Hose?" And they just didn't. They
Well,
didn't.
Damon, now that he's had his last hallucination, possibly,
Hmm.
since he's going to be leaving Harrenhal, um, he knows now that Rhaenyra is the ruler they need, the person who can unite them.
Yeah.
And
He says, "I meant to serve you until death or the end of our story."
yes, he has humbled himself
He has.
again.
And she tells him, "Bitch, don't leave me again."
Yes, she said, "Leave me again at your peril." Ooh, I gotta use that one.
I can't wait.
I got
Next time your husband comes home and then has to leave to go to work.
like leave when he gets home, like leave me again at your peril. He hasn't watched yet. I should say that to him.
Oh my God, totally do it. Totally do it. And Damon's like, yo, I tried. I can't. It was always you
And
on some
also,
Snape
Damon, you
shit.
wouldn't have been a good king. Like you this was a shit show.
Like
You had
anything
one
that you did
job.
at Harrenhal was proves that, right? You
Yeah.
just kept fucking up at every turn until the castle was like, listen, How many ways do we need to say it to you? Nobody wants you to be king. Accept it. Now he did. Now he knows.
And it's like you have no claim anyway.
Yeah.
You have no claim. Let it go.
We keep talking about the line of succession, and he is not in it.
Like,
Not unless everybody dies.
right. Like Aemond has to die, Jaehaera has to die, Rhaenyra has to die, and then we get to Daemon. But that
Well,
would
no, because
mean
then the
no,
kids
the
have to
kids,
die.
right.
The
So
kids have to die.
so first Aemond would have to die. Then
Mhm.
Jaehaera, if they want to follow like letting a woman lead, then okay, then it would have to be Jaehaera. But if she's
Mhm.
dead and now we have Rhaenyra, well, now you still don't have a claim over Rhaenyra. Then Rhaenyra's
Mhm.
dead. Okay, well, you don't have a claim over Jace. You don't have a claim over baby Viserys or baby Aegon either.
Nope. Nope.
Like,
All of them have to die.
like that's a lot of people ahead of you.
I mean,
Don't
the
have a
only way that's
claim.
going to happen is if you lock them all up into the set and go total Cersei on them. But no, you can't do
Yeah.
that. I'm not going to do it.
So he needs to let it go, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad he
Me
came to his
too.
senses.
Me too.
Shout out to the old gods.
Shout out to the old
I
god.
really loved Simon clapping in the background. I
Too.
love him. I love Sir
Dude.
Simon.
He reminds me of Sam.
Yeah, he does
He
kind of
reminds me of
remind me of
Sam.
Sam. He's just trying to
Yeah.
do the right thing. He
You
doesn't want
know?
any problems.
And I know we already talked about this, but my note says you still got to kill Alfred, right? No?
Yeah, and again, he slinks off, when everyone's cheering, he kind of just slips off. And so I'm curious as to where he's going because
That
he kind
slimy
of,
little fuck.
yeah, he showed his hand to Damon, and as we see, Damon didn't bite. So now what?
Yeah.
That was a risk. I assume a calculated risk that he probably thought about the whole time he was on his way to Harrenhal, but
Hmm.
it did not play out as he
I mean, he
hoped.
probably thought it was going to work out in his favor because where has Damon been this whole time? You walk in, you see the army, you're like,
Mhm.
oh, so he's been up to stuff. We haven't heard from him, but he's been putting in work. Meanwhile, we have no army. We got
Right.
dragons, but we got no army. So yeah, you fucked up, Alfred.
Yeah, so fuck that guy. Aemond and Helena, their little outside chat. I thought that Aemond might kill her for real.
I kind of thought that maybe he would like just push her over the thingy,
Yeah.
over the ramparts. But I also was wondering if he was going to try to like, sweet talk her into it because they used to have a really sweet relationship when they were younger,
Hmm.
and maybe he was going to like come and soothe her and be like, but baby, you got to ride the dragon, right? And she's going to be like, no, I don't want to kill anybody. He's like, I know, but just do it for me. That didn't happen though.
Aemond doesn't know how to be tender.
Or if he did, he lost it with his eye.
Helena says, if I refuse, would you burn me as you did Aegon? And now
Mm.
we're getting confirmation that she has the sight.
He has the sight. It's something I wrote before. I was like, well, Helena, we know you're a dreamer. You have the sight. Have you been putting things in Damon's head? Like, have you been visiting Damon this whole time? Like, what's
I
going
don't think she
on?
has that power.
And I really enjoyed this scene with Helena because it's like, finally, we've been talking about this the whole time. And it's just, she said something that I don't think I wrote down.
You were
I'm gonna
swallowed
have
up
to,
in the god's eye and you were
we'll
never
know
seen
that.
again.
Yeah. Which to our friend, our dear friend who listens and asks us and texts us and asks us questions.
I mean,
Remember that.
she's also the one who's when Allison said he'd get his own dragon eventually. Remember, Helena was like, he'll have to close an eye, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that she has been seeing things not like while they're happening or anything like that, but
Yeah,
like kind of the way Damon saw those flashes of things going on.
right. She's standing there. She's like, ah, like Jean Grey or Professor X.
Yeah, so he threatens her. She tells him, you were swallowed up in the god's eye and you were never seen again, which shakes him up because he knows she's a spooky bitch too.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her, I could have you killed.
And she's like, that's not going to change anything.
That's that spooky bitch talk.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's like
love
you
it.
bitch ladies. Me
I
too.
love it. Yeah, I thought he was gonna kill her. I thought he was gonna kill her. So yeah, Helena has the sight and she knows what Aemond has done, and Aemond knows that she knows, and
He's like, that's treason. She's like, what? You did
right.
it.
Like, and you're the treasonous bitch. Like,
You know?
oh, I feel so bad for Helena. Where I wonder where they would go. Like, I assumed maybe they'd go to Old Town, but they would still have to worry about getting burned.
They'd have to make it to Old Town when the armies are on the march. It's not safe for them to travel that way.
No, so maybe they'd have to go to Essos too.
Mm-hmm.
Just hang out in Pentos for a while.
Fancy seeing you here. Yeah.
Well, Aegon's not safe, and now I don't believe Helena's safe either.
Yeah. I mean, get on Dreamfire and get the fuck out.
I
Just
love
take your
that.
dragon and go.
I love that she's a dreamer with a dragon named Dreamfire too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me too.
Corlys and Alan finally have their face off, where Alan lets us know that Corlys was a deadbeat dad.
Mm-hmm. Where were you?
But
Don't
you know
talk to me
what?
now. You're my father now.
I don't
Where
think
were you?
you know what? I don't think they were poor in the book because their mother was pretty successful.
Mm.
And I think that's why, and I can't remember if Corlys was supporting them. I kind of think he was, and that's why they went along with the whole Laenor is our
Mm.
dad, even though everyone knew that like Laenor was not their dad.
Right. I feel like that makes sense as far as Corliss's character goes.
Yeah.
That he would support them on the low, like, okay, yeah, this is for the kids. I'm gonna give you child support. Let's make sure that you're
Right.
not hungry and stuff. But for the show, he's a deadbeat dad,
Yeah.
carrying his kids around, ignoring carrying his true heirs around, and like giving them pony rides. Meanwhile, there goes little Alan
Selling
catching fish and
fish.
selling fish in the freezing cold with this one lump of coal.
Right. And when he says, "Now you remember I live," he's like, your two trueborn children died, the heir who took his place died, and now suddenly you remember me.
Mm-hmm. And I love that this all happened when he was like, when Corliss turned his back on him. And I was like, oh,
Yeah, like this is done.
yeah. He's like, Corliss, is this over? He's like, oh, you're going to turn your back? Let me tell you about you turning your back to us and how this has impacted our entire lives.
Let me tell you about your stink self.
Fuck you, dad.
Yeah, I was happy that Alan got to get that off his chest because
Me
it's been
too.
bothering him this whole time. Like, here you
Mm-hmm.
are wanting to give me honors and shit now that you don't have kids anymore and you need a new, and it's not even that he offered him to become the heir or anything, but it's like, what, do you have guilt because all your other kids are dead? So now you want to be nice to me?
Yeah, your kids are dead. Your wife is dead. Now it's just the two of us. It's just me, you, and Adam. And it's like the way that he opened that conversation, he's like, you gotta chill with the men more. They think you're a little bit curt. And it's like, listen, I don't like you. It's
I ain't
you I
fucking
don't
with
like.
you.
Do,
You
do,
stupid
do,
ass bitch. I ain't fucking with
fucking with
you.
you. Like this is you. This is a me and you problem. Like the crew has nothing to do with it. And I think they know that, you know? Yeah. Corley, this was not the way to approach this conversation. Y'all should have
Yeah,
had a
I didn't
beer.
like him being I don't like him being a deadbeat dad. That's really fucked up. Alan and Adam are feeling very different ways about
Yeah.
their promotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They really
honestly,
are.
I feel both of them. Like with Adam, he's like, this is owed to us, and I feel him
Hmm.
on that. And with Alan, he's like, you had
We
all
made
this
it without
time,
you.
right? Like, fuck you. It reminds me of that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode when his dad doesn't show
Oh,
up. And he's like, I
yeah.
learned how to drive without him. I learned how to talk to honeys without him. And then he's like, I don't need him. Then why he don't want me, man? So I think Alan maybe cried a
Yeah.
little later. He cried in the car.
I mean, that's like not really a good comparison or parallel, but it also reminds me a little bit of when Katara was fighting Jet and Aphodar, the last Airbender. He's like, I made you. And she's like, no, bitch, I made me. I did this myself. And that's what they're saying. Like, we did this on our own. We don't need you. We don't need you. Alan is like, I'm an honorable man. And we know Adam is too. They did this all without you. They did this literally in the shadow of your castle.
Mm-hmm. And now they get to be uncomfortable on a ship together for God knows how long.
Sit across each other, just staring in silence.
Just both looking in the other direction, like do, do, do,
Shout out to that
do.
little hand, though.
Yeah.
The little hand pin. But also, didn't it make you a little bit nervous that they're like in those rowboats in their armor?
Yes, Davos told us you're not supposed to be in your armor on a boat.
Like, what are we doing here, guys?
But
Nobody else's armor.
it looked like they were just rowing to the bigger ship.
Yes, you can still drown. It just takes a couple tablespoons of water.
Yeah, I know. But
Okay. You think we
you
would
know,
have learned from, you know what? I take that back because if Jamie can survive falling into a fucking lake with full armor on,
please don't remind me of that bullshit. Please.
he should have
I'm
died that day.
trying to keep it light.
See our
Trying to
episode
pull it
about that.
together.
We covered it. We did. Okay.
Jamie should have died. Fuck that scene. Okay.
It would have been so much
Whew.
better.
My blood
Anyway.
pressure just went through the roof. Alicent goes to Orwell, tells him she needs his discretion again, but not abortion tea this time, bro. That worked
Mm.
out. I just need safe passage. And I'm like, safe passage where? Is she gonna escape with Helena?
That's what I
No,
thought she was gonna do.
no. She goes to visit Rhaenyra because apparently they can't stop seeing each other. And like
Apparently they have the same brain.
none of these places have security. What do you mean you just rode up to Dragonstone
Like
and made it
how?
to the gates?
How? I thought y'all had a bunch of dragons now.
Like nobody's out working. Everybody took the
Yeah.
night off.
I mean, maybe they're learning how to say speak High Valerian in the pits.
Well, no, they were stopped at the gates because she said that Sir Ricard gave up his sword.
But who the fuck are you?
Well, they know who she is. They know she's Alicent, the queen.
I know, but I'm saying it's like, okay, I have an opportunity to bring the traitor queen to the true queen.
Well,
Like,
what it
why is
tells
she
me
not
is
in cuffs?
it's telling me that nobody's watching this harbor. Like
Security is so lax.
Rhaenyra sending Uber Eats, Allison's
Mhm.
dropping in and paying her a visit.
For tea.
Rhaenyra snuck over there
Not even for tea, for a nightcap.
for a
She's like, wake up,
nightcap.
bitch, I got booze.
Like how many times has someone snuck back and forth? Like there is nobody watching this water. How many times this season
Buddy.
has someone snuck back and forth?
It's because they just assume that the dragons are going to take care of everything.
Someone was asking me about Dragonstone's location, and I realized they don't give us like a map so that people know. Like we've seen a map, so we know how
Yeah,
close Dragonstone is to King's Landing,
yeah.
but they didn't really give us that. And
It's close enough that you can see Vagar coming, and that Vagar can and Aemon coming, and Aemon can see that you got mad dragons now.
like they're very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think there would be extra security watching that water and seeing who's going in and out, but apparently not.
Nope.
Anyway,
Imagine if dragons could be like underwater and swimming. Like, how terrifying would that be for
the
both?
ocean is already a place full of nightmares. You
I
add
know.
dragons to that, like that's just
Mhm.
horrible.
Dragon Kraken fight. I'm here for it. Anyway, we
Well,
digress.
Alicent comes to Rhaenyra and
Mhm.
she's all sad because she lost her job and that has her reflecting.
And before we talk about that, like it was lost on me that that whole like peace hippie montage was supposed to be about her realizing that her freedom and that she wants it. Y'all did not sell that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, she does finally admit that she was jealous of Rhaenyra and how she just kind of did whatever she wanted. It wasn't like
You mean
held
everything
down.
we've been saying for one season and 9 episodes, 8, 7 episodes?
Yeah. Like this whole time she's just been jealous of her doing whatever she wants because she wants to do whatever she wants to, but she does what's expected of her.
Mhm.
And it's not, I mean, it paid off. She became the queen,
Yeah.
but she didn't have like a handsome king, a handsome young king, and like, you
Wait, are
know,
we talking about Camilla? Uh, yeah, no, but I mean, she got what she wanted. You know, she walked the path. She got what her dad wanted for her, and he
and it
got what he
wasn't
wanted for it.
enough. It didn't make her happy.
Nope. And it took her that little field trip to reflect upon that and realize
Like
that
you
this
think
is where I
about it,
belong.
yeah, like you think about it, like she did everything she was told to do. She was pious and respectful and well
Mm-hmm.
behaved and followed orders. And so she got to
Yep.
become the queen. And it ends up not making her happy because she gets to watch Rhaenyra be young and free and live a hot girl life. And now we know
Young and wild and free.
and it confirms what we've been saying. Allison's been jealous of her this whole time.
Yep. And you
And
notice that she started biting her nails again?
yes, I did notice that she started biting her nails again. And she was picking at them in a council meeting a few episodes back too.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
her like nervous tick is coming back. Um Allison admits that she has a lover. Like she kind of just casually throws that in there. And I was surprised that she told on herself. Like she's like in confessional mode right now.
She's like, bitch, I
And
have needs.
yeah, Lorena was like, "Oh, a lover, really, really."
I
And when
love how Rhaenyra keeps getting those little jabs and she's like, oh, what? Oh, what? She's not
yeah,
letting anything slide.
yeah, and when she tells Rhaenyra, "Oh, don't judge me for something you did," and it got my hackles up. Like I was about to cuss her up, but then Rhaenyra said exactly what I was thinking. She
Mm-hmm.
said, "You alone made virtue your banner,"
Exactly.
and that was what I was saying before. Like I wasn't mad at Allison for sleeping with Kristen Cole. Like you got a sexy like guard, your husband
Mm-hmm.
died, by all means jump at it, but not after
Mm-hmm.
you've been talking all that shit about Rhaenyra for sleeping with the exact same guy, first of
The
all.
exact same guy.
But yeah, Rhaenyra was right. You made virtue your banner and you judged everybody, even though that's between Rhaenyra and her husband and their
Mm-hmm.
agreement. Alicent made it her
Mm-hmm.
business, and now look at her
Yep.
taking abortion tea.
Taking abortion tea, no husband, sleeping with the Kingsguard, which led to her grandkid getting killed, and all the poor rat catchers, but also getting fired.
I thought maybe Aemond would be the one who realized what Kristen Cole was up to with his mother.
I mean, yes,
Aemond would have
yes.
killed him for certain.
Yeah, we talked about this. We
Yeah.
talked about this.
Well, in any case, Alicent wants to leave this world behind. This world being King's Landing and the world of backstabbing councils.
And war and stuff. But guess what? It's too late.
And like she was saying things that were pissing me off too. Like when when Rhaenyra was like, "Oh, now that this thing you set in motion," and she's like, "Oh, don't act like it wouldn't have been challenged anyway." Yes, it would have been,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, it would have been challenged anyway. But bitch, you were the one who came down, who called that meeting early in the
Right?
morning to
What did
to
she
tell
say?
them.
You brought it into the world like a midwife.
Brought it forth like a midwife. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
Allison, humble yourself. Now is not the time.
And let's talk about her fucking half-cocked, like harebrained scheme. I'm gonna let you in the gates. They're gonna
Yeah,
throw
as soon
down
as
their
Aemon
things.
leaves, like we'll
Um,
and then what will you do when Aemon comes back?
exactly. Who are you, Tywin Lannister? Come
Very
out of
stupid
here.
plan.
Get out of
Very,
here.
very stupid plan. Oh, Aemon will leave. Helena will listen to me, and you can just come and take the seat. And then it's like,
Because Helena
and
has a lot of power.
it's like, what? Okay, and then what happens with Aegon? What happens with Aemond?
Mm-hmm. And the other thing about it is like you're trying to convince me that you have power when you're fired from this. You just said that you like lost your job. You have no power. And this war is all about a woman being in power.
Right.
Like,
And
have
that
you gone
whole
cuckoo?
the thing is, it's like she's like, oh, she'll give Rhaenyra the throne. What about the entire small council?
Mm-hmm. The entire small council, all the houses that have joined their cause. Like,
And it's like, and where was she gonna
people have
go?
died.
And where was Alicent gonna go? Like, was she gonna take Aemond and Aegon and move back to Old Town and like they're just gonna chill in Old Town now?
Like, if you're the Blackens, the Brackens and the Blackwoods, how pissed would you be if that's what happened?
I hated her
What if you're the
stupid
people at
plan.
Sharp Point?
And Rhaenyra correctly says that she'd have to take Aegon's head, but at
Mm-hmm.
this point, she'd have to take Aemond's head as well.
She has to take them both. She's like, girl,
Neither of them
are
can
you
live.
crazy? Are you crazy? You know I'm gonna have to kill the boy. Like, that's it. There is no option. Like, if they got me, they would have to kill me too. That's
And
how it works.
Allison agrees to it. to letting her take Aegon's head and show it to everyone. She
Mhm.
tearfully agrees, yes. But bitch, you just agreed to have your son killed.
You know what's crazy here is that in this moment, I was reminded of Blood and Cheese in the books, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
having this is actually having to make the decision, right? For
Mm-hmm.
Helena, it was just point to which one is the son. But here you have to actually think, okay, am I going to let you kill my firstborn? Because that's how this war needs to end. Like, whoa, it's a Sophie's choice. But the fact that she agreed to it, I was like, you know what? I know that you know that Egon was Egon ain't shit.
Clearly, he was her least favorite.
you know, like Viserys is too. But like, wow, you really gave him up that quickly. And maybe do you think I hadn't this had thought hadn't occurred to me. Do you think that she's willing to give him up because he's all fucked up anyway? He's like
Maybe,
he's bruised, he's burned, you know. he's got like, just no jennies anymore. And like what is his life going to be? And is that why she's willing to give him up so quickly?
maybe put an end to his misery.
It's a mercy killing.
But even if that plan worked, Aemond is still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Aemond is now, in his eyes, the rightful king if
Yeah.
Rhaenyra kills Aegon and takes the throne. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end the war.
If anything, it makes it more fierce because now Aemond is defending his claim.
And who was Alicent to tell the guards to throw down
They're
their
not going to
weapons?
listen to her.
And they're not going to listen to Helena either.
Like, are you kidding? Like the spooky like wafy queen, and like we all know that she says crazy shit all the time, and the queen mother, the dowager queen.
Nobody's
Like,
going to listen to
hello,
them.
get out of
It's a
here.
very stupid plan, and also just like, wow, that's really fucked up to offer up your son to be killed.
I would have loved Otto Hightower to be there to listen to this plan and just be like, what the fuck?
Otto Hightower, had he been around for any of the things that have been going on, like people would have been getting slapped left and right. Like I think he
Oh
would
my
have
god.
finally lost it and just started hitting people.
He would have like been carrying a gauntlet around just to slap people with, just like just like whoa, like just stupid, 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 stupid plans. And the crazy thing is, like, we already saw this. We've seen this scene. We've seen this scene. We just had this happen. Like you told Rhaenyra it was too late, and now you're here being like, hey,
Hey, maybe it's
maybe,
not.
and I loved the scene. I mean, it was annoying because it needed to be, right, but I loved the scene because you could still see that there's love between them, right? Just even though that's all fucked up and it's gone like crazy, there's still a little
But
bit of
like
love there.
Alicent has spent Aegon's entire life telling him that Rhaenyra is a threat. Rhaenyra is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Your life will be forfeit. Rhaenyra is a threat. Oh my God, your sister is gonna have you killed, only to offer him up to be killed by the same sister.
Wild,
Like it's
wild.
crazy.
I'm
It's
telling you,
crazy.
she went on that vision quest and
And
she
she
came back crazier.
she could have not pushed Aegon to get on the throne. Because okay, again,
He didn't want it.
yes, the council was gonna crown him anyway, but like
Mm-hmm.
she practically dragged him to
Yeah.
be to the coronation.
Yep. He didn't want to be there. He wanted to be drunk.
So
And
it's
he
like,
said that even in the cart where the day that Rhaenyra went all like wild boar, the day that Rhaenyra went running off into the woods, and they were in that little cart, Egon was like, I don't want to be the king.
yeah, I mean, he when last season when Alicent was like, you know, something about him challenging her for the
Mm-hmm.
throne, and he was like, well, then I won't challenge her, and she's
Yeah.
like, you are the challenge, you being alive is the challenge. And so like
Yeah.
these are the messages she's been giving him, and he might not have gone along with the crowning if he hadn't been told that his father wanted it.
Yeah.
If he was
Yeah.
told he was usurping the crown, he might not have even done it. So
Yeah.
yes, you helped put this all in motion. It doesn't matter that they were going to try to do it anyway, you were still part of it. Like,
Hmm.
you can't just absolve yourself and be like, oh, well, like, you were going to be challenged anyway. Like, you still
Yeah.
did it. Even
Yeah.
if, like, she pissed me off. And it's like, now you're offering for him to be killed. Like, girl, like, even Laris had a better plan than that. Escape.
Right. Mother of the year, guys.
Lord, she gets on my nerves. Well, we get a really fun montage. We see the dragon riders getting armored.
Mm.
Alicent leaving and, thinking about the choices she's made. The High Tower army marching, and we get to see Tessarion floating,
I was like,
flying,
it's about
flying.
fucking time, Daron.
We never got to see
Yay.
Daron. Remember, I joked that maybe they didn't cast him or we're not going to see him. Yeah, so we didn't
Hmm.
see Daron.
But we saw the army. We were right. They were marching. That's
Yes,
where the
and their
dragon
dragon
is
was blue and beautiful. I loved it. Um, we finally saw the Northern Army. They've been walking all season.
all season. I
They've
mean, it
been.
is a long way.
It is a long way, but like, damn, we could have gotten some glimpses or something.
I
But
mean,
they've
that was
made it
enough
to
for
the
me.
Riverlands. They've made it to the Riverlands, and they're crossing the Twins.
And we see the Lannister army.
The
Is
Lannister
that the
army's on the
Trident?
march. The what?
Are they crossing the Trident? And because the reason I
Oh,
ask
I
is
I don't know.
because I'm looking at that river and the way that it forks off. It's got the two
Oh,
branches, and
maybe,
I was like, is that the Trident? Is that what? Yeah, I don't know. Tell us, please.
maybe.
We need to refer to our maps.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Um,
maps.
Thailand is sailing back with Lohar and that fleet from the Triarchy.
It's just crazy because they think that they have to worry about like the Greyjoys and stuff. And it's not the Greyjoys that they're going to have to worry about. I'm talking about Corlys, right? It's
Uh-huh.
not the Greyjoys. It's not the Lannisters. It's the Triarchy
Back to fighting the Triarchy again.
again. Damon's going to be so mad.
The Valerian fleet is also on its way, and we see that Laris did escape with Aegon. So when Rhaenyra shows up in 3 days to take his head, he's not even going to be there. And we
Absconded.
see Otto, and looks like he's imprisoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who the
In
fuck
chains.
imprisoned Otto? That's
No,
why
girl,
he
I
hasn't
can't
been
wait to find out.
he hasn't been responding to letters. Remember, they've been asking this whole
Mm-hmm.
time, like, has he responded to you? Because he's not been, writing to me, blah, blah, blah. Now we know somebody imprisoned his ass. Who imprisoned
Mm-hmm.
him and when? I need to know. We need
I
two
mean,
more
he looks a little
episodes.
rough.
He looked very rough. Like,
He's been there for a while.
he was not just comfortably riding somewhere in a carriage. Like, he's clearly caged.
But also, what is he seeing when he like kind of like he sits up and he looks and he's just like, okay, I know that we're supposed to understand that this is the reason we haven't heard from him since he got dehanded, but what is he looking at? I don't know. Who would have caught Otto
I
and
don't know.
kept him?
That surprised me a lot. I was very surprised when I saw
Me
Otto
too.
in that
Me
crate
too.
in his kennel. It was very shocking. Um, I would like to talk some spoilers because there are things that I'm thinking about for next season
Sure.
that would be spoilery for people. So,
I have something that I guess I would like to talk about it too, because there's something that happens that we didn't talk about that I think if we say it,
will be
it'll be spoilery. So yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna
this
talk
is your time to jump
spoilers.
ship.
Yeah, get out of here. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, A Thousand Eyes in One Podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as Thousand Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, A Thousand Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram. If you don't want
I'm gonna
if you
let me
don't
do
want
the
book
Tanya.
spoilers, okay,
Can
count
I
down
do
the
the
spoilers.
Tanya?
Count down the
We're
spoilers.
gonna do spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Bye. So let me say this.
Hmm.
If you're still here, I'm giving you one last opportunity. Okay. Bye. So Missaria and Rhaenyra on the wall watching the dragons float around. She's like, girl, you did this. You did this. And Rhaenyra's they're talking about the price of war and having to kill innocents and all this kind of stuff. And Rhaenyra says, well, who pays the price? And Rhaenyra looks over at the dragons.
Yes,
And if you know,
you
you
know.
know. Whew. I was like, I didn't really catch up the first scene because I'm sorry it gets on my nerves, that the actress. Lord
I know you
forgive
don't
me.
like her.
I can't. But yeah. I saw her look over at the dragons and my heart got all clenched up and I was like, oh shit. The dragons do pay the price. They
Yeah,
do pay the price. And I think like this goes back to the vision that Damon had, right? It's just okay, we see a massacre, slaughtered up dragon, and then there's no dragons, no dragons, no dragons until we see Daenerys.
yeah,
And I don't know if he realizes that like the end of the dragon days is coming, bro. But whew, that's the part that stood out the most to me that I was like, okay, now this is a spoiler, but we have to talk about it.
the
Yeah,
other
we have.
thing, we talked about Reyna and Sheep
Mm-hmm.
Stealer, which they haven't named him Sheep Stealer yet, but
Yeah.
maybe they will next
Didn't they call him
season.
the cannibal or something?
That was another dragon.
That was a different dragon? Okay.
Yeah, nobody rides the cannibal because he was too fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're clearly not getting Nettles. Reyna is gonna have the Nettles storyline.
Yeah.
But what does that mean for her dragon mourning? Because remember, she gets a baby dragon and it ends up being I mean, she hatches a dragon and it's kind of a big deal that she finally gets a dragon to
Right.
hatch.
Right. I don't know.
So like what happens to mourning? We just don't get mourning? They just
Um,
cut that dragon out?
Probably.
Because
I
like
mean, because what's a bigger deal? Her hatching a dragon for the purpose of the show, her hatching a dragon or her getting the dragon that she's always wanted and like having to run it down and chase it. Like, Alicent was on a vision quest, but so was Reyna. She's there doing that thing like where your warrior goes out alone and you got to kill your first buffalo or some shit. Like that's kind of what she's doing. So I think it's a bigger impact if you stray from the book, or like you have been saying, like combine Reyna and Nettle storyline into this.
yeah, I guess I just would have liked to see her hatch a dragon. It would have
Yeah,
meant a lot to her.
it would have, but so will writing this dragon.
And I like the name Mourning.
Yeah,
Like she's mourning her sister's moon dancer. Like it's a cool,
yeah. Maybe they'll
um,
call her Morning Sheep Stealer.
maybe they won't call it Sheep Stealer at all. Maybe they'll just name it Mourning.
Maybe
And
that is more elegant
yeah,
because maybe she happened upon him in the morning after she woke up freezing in the cold. Who knows?
yeah.
Who
So yeah,
knows why
maybe
they
they'll
do the
just
things they do?
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. The other thing, thinking about Helena.
Mm-hmm.
So in the books, Helena goes mad and kills herself. She jumps
Yep.
off the castle walls, lands down in the moat with the spikes, and dies slowly and painfully. I thought that's what we were about to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought maybe Helena does not go mad and kill herself, but Aemond kills her because she refuses to fly into battle with him.
I did like that Allison said that too. She's like, "Do you want her to lose her mind
Right.
to do these things that you're asking?" Um, but yeah, no, I guess I don't know. Do you think that they keep her? I don't think they can keep her alive.
No.
I don't think she's gonna
She
survive the
has
show.
no, she has to die because that's just how it goes. I don't know. Like I don't know how else to put it, but she has to
Because
die.
this is a George production.
Yeah, like she's like everyone dies. Everyone
Everyone
dies.
dies. Yeah.
I everyone who's like in the line of succession has to die in
Yeah.
order for it to work,
Yeah.
for it to go where it's supposed to go, assuming they're gonna follow who ends up with
Oh,
the throne,
yeah. And
you
I've
know?
been wondering about that. I've been wondering about that. I hope they don't change it just to make people happy,
Yeah.
Because if you can do what you did to the last thing, then you can just give us what's in the books. You owe us that.
I guess we'll see how much time passes in the next two seasons before we know if the final throne sitter ends up being the final throne sitter.
Yeah. And I really wonder about that. But we also, in case you guys don't know, there is a lot that has
There
to
is
happen in the next
so
two seasons.
much story left.
Like, give us 10 episodes, you
Just give us
fuckers.
10 episodes. Don't do this to
Please.
us.
Don't. Please don't. No.
Like, my kids are going to be in fucking college by the time we get to the finale.
Hey, look on the bright side. Maybe Winds of Winter will be out.
Don't.
Pressing
Deep,
my
deep
fingers.
sigh.
Yeah. 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 Well, shit. I can't believe it's over.
It's over.
It's over. Happy belated birthday, boo.
Thank you, darling.
Right. So this was the season. It's over. Well, actually, I'm not really mad. I kind of want my Sunday nights back in my. I need. It's like the summer, winter is coming, guys. I'd like to spend time outside.
Well, I didn't want my Sundays back. I would like to give up two more, but whatever, whatever.
Two more would have been cool.
What's done is done.
I'm sure there'll be something else that we can talk about.
Yeah. Well, I've been Tanya.
I'm always Nikki.
Ta-ta.